expressed here is strictly that person who gives us. Let us consciously and lovingly agree to disagree if it does not resonate with us. And most of you know Mel. I'll let her do her thing. And
good morning, everybody. Good morning, Zoom. I'm going to step over to the crystal bowl and just start with that. Just allow us to ground into the experience. Always grounds me. So music medicine has, first of all, taken me to places that I never knew existed, never knew were inside of me. It has helped me find my voice in ways I was dreamt of. The who? Oh, there's a clippy thing here. Yeah. Just put it on my shirt. As so. Well, technically, we have to be able to get it on the shirt for it to affect them. All right, are we good? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I was thinking about, I knew I was speaking, so I kind of just held space for it in my heart. And one thing that came to me is the music medicine has found my voice in a way to where I have healed the deepest wound that lied inside me for years. Years. I love my mother. Literally. I could never say that before with these kind of authentic words. So I will start with that. I never took lessons. I lied. I took piano lessons briefly as a child, but I left because they were trying to make me follow rules. Music medicine doesn't have rules. It lies inside. Through our voice, it's a walking instrument. So maybe we'll do a little thing later, but one thing I will also share, for my professional career as a licensed social worker, I have worked with mental health for years. 2017, I walked away, couldn't do it anymore. I'm now back for 2 years. I am working with children and families in ways I never knew I could help them. I always wondered why kids. I started working with kids, I was like 17. Why kids? The words that come out of my mouth through the music medicine that I do, the words I offer are words of clarity and awareness in a way that comes with nothing but love. So these parents can hear the words that they need to hear to help their children. So here's a cool story. I'm working with a 6-year-old and her mom. Lots of just big emotions, things stuck in the body that this little one doesn't describe. She's 6, right? She doesn't have the same words that we do as adults. So we started to introduce Native American flute medicine and snuggling for attachment repair. Simple music medicine. All it took was a YouTube channel. Worked with mom, child. We kind of figured out things that they liked. Let me get some water. Sometimes when I get really in alignment, I start shaking a lot. So let me get some help from water to ground. talked to the mom recently. The relationship has repaired to a point to where now they use words with each other instead of loud voices and big hands and big expressions, to the point where the child will turn around and sometimes they'll say, mommy. And they have this whole new language they developed because the words don't matter. They don't matter. Here's what I'm learning. The emotions and the thought process in the brain sit in a different location. So when the emotions get really big, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be 2 or you could be 52. It doesn't matter, right? The emotions get big, the thought process stops. It's really that simple. So all the tools that we cognitively have developed when we're at baseline, they don't come through when our emotions are highly activated because it just can't. However, music sits in a different part of the brain. So it will align back the midline between those two places that aren't connecting and reconnect them again. You don't need words to talk about things that are adverse, or what do I mean when I say adverse? Anything other than pleasure, joy, and satisfaction. That's simple. Sometimes the words don't matter. When we talk about it, it stays present. Sometimes it just has to move. So here's an example. I had this experience when I first started playing music medicine with the drum. The images and the flashes kept coming in my head. They didn't feel good, but I didn't want to talk about it. I knew it wasn't working. Sat in my backyard with a chair, faced the trees, put the drum medicine on in my lap. It was my little djembe at the time. I put shamanic drumming in my ears because there was a lot of chatter. And I was struggling to drop into the birds, which usually will calm me. There was a lot of chatter. So I put the shamanic drum on. I played the drum medicine. I allowed the image to come through. I moved the emotions. I cried with the drum and I stopped within like 10 minutes. Oh, by the way, I was barefoot in the ground. So I was asking for help. And it was gone. You can allow it to come through. You can let it shift with the music medicine, release it. What I discovered too, my body likes to release through tears. Who would have thunk, right? But what I've learned through the music medicine is I don't have to identify it as sadness, anger, frustration. I don't have to attach the human idea of what the emotion is. It's just ready to come through and move. So then move it. How long do I have, by the way? I don't want to get on this whole. All right, cool. And so music medicine has led me to a career field that it was a dream. I remember in one of my, I was working as a mental health therapist in an educational setting, so lots of trauma. And there was this intern we were talking about, she was getting ready to graduate. And I said, oh, cool, what are you looking to do? And she said, equine assisted psychotherapy. I looked it up. I knew nothing about horses at all. So I kind of let it go, thinking it wasn't for me. Guess what I'm doing? But I also introduced music medicine to families and kids. They don't need to talk about it. I have trusted every single aspect of the music medicine. I've trusted. The first piece of music medicine was my little djembe. I did a talk on this, I think, a little while ago. It was the last $40 in my pocket. It felt too good to get scared, though. And he would have told me this is where I am today, I would pinch myself. But it's like, I don't even get scared anymore. And if I do, I hum or I drum, or there's a tongue drum, or there's crystal bowls, or it's really whatever it is to you. That's the beauty of the music medicine. It's not about trying to figure out how to play the notes. It's not about looking at music or looking at what somebody else deemed as this is how this instrument sounds. It lies in here. It's in the heart. I didn't know I was going to get the gift of the Native American flute until I was playing on YouTube. My spirits and I connect really well through music. Go figure. And so randomly, sometimes things will just pop up on like YouTube. This was quite a few years ago. Native American flute came up. I never heard it in my life, and I fell in love with it. Ended up going to a festival, meeting a flute maker, meeting a dear sister. Never would have guessed. And it's all just trusting, because does it get shaky? Sure. Like when I stand up here and when I was fluting for you guys and myself, I shook a little bit. But what I'm learning is I wasn't scared. I was just ready. And so I asked the music medicine, just help and guide me. And the beauty of it is you can feel yourself like kind of really shake, right? But then all of a sudden, it just takes you somewhere. I know Zoom, it's a little bit hard to hear the vibration of the bass drum. I'm just going to walk around. If you want to close your eyes, you can. They can still hear me, right, with the microphone? Fabulous. Maybe your voice wants to start humming. Allow thoughts to float. Just come gently back to the music. Join me if you feel comfortable. Maybe your body wants to sway back and forth. Thank you for joining me with that. So here is something else I would like to share as far as music medicine. The brain hears every single word that is spoken all the time. So sometimes there are music, it's to be mindful of and aware of how the music you're responding to. Sometimes the emotions that are stuck gives the illusion of needing specific kind of music, but then when you listen to the music, the emotions begin to exacerbate sometimes, and it makes you feel different. What we used to listen to doesn't always provide music medicine, because just like the olfactory, right, the smell and the visual sense, music medicine can also take us in places that need to just move. So bringing awareness to that and shifting it, there is harp music I help clients find, string instrumental music, maybe jazz. The thing that I work with myself with is what does my body need in this moment? And then the music medicine follows. So maybe I put something on and I'm like, still feeling that denseness. I'm like, okay, well, let's shift. And then we shift, and maybe I start to feel like that flow movement that needs to happen. Because I'll tell you, after a day of supporting other people, I got to come home and support myself. That's where the music medicine comes in too. So explore with it. We do have technology that is readily available. There are so many different kinds of musics out there. And it's really interesting and can be beautiful when you introduce and explore different things, and then you start to be like, oh, I kind of like this. This is fun. So trust yourself. And if there's a music instrument that calls you, it's going to feel really weird. It felt really weird buying a flute, and let me tell you. It was so far out of my comfort zone, but it was also like, I need, right? Like it was more of a, like my inner being and my like inner child was like, yeah, trust this, it's okay. Went to the river, played the flute. I started crying because I was like, whoa, are you really? That's what I heard. It was a beautiful gift. And so sometimes when I'm noticing with the music medicine, the things, it pulls me out of my comfort zone every single time. I also play djembe now. I didn't think that was going to happen a couple years ago. So music medicine has helped me to trust myself. It's built self-confidence and self-esteem from areas that I didn't even knew were there. So I fell asleep smiling the other night. Like visibly smiling, and then smiling more because I'm aware that I'm smiling as I'm falling asleep. All of the things and the things that were like sitting in my head and heart where I know I can do this. I just don't know yet. So I would just let it kind of hang out in the background and I just trusted the process. Now I'm offering supportive parenting stuff for parents, not traditional parenting classes, a supportive, like a, equine assisted psychotherapy with music medicine. And horses, really? By the way, horses love music medicine. They really do. It is very beautiful to watch how they respond. And they'll even tell you what they want. I had one horse, I don't want the bass drum, I just want your voice. Had another horse, I just want the bass drum, I'm going to put my nozzle right up to where the vibration is, and it sat there. I've had one horse that loves the flute. It's beautiful. And so I think my words feel complete. I'll hang out after church for a little while if anyone has like other questions or whatever. I am officially off social media, by the way, so I am more than willing to offer you contact information if you're interested before you leave, just to learn more, talk, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, questions. That is a Remo Buffalo bass drum. It is readily available on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Yep, Remo 16-inch Buffalo bass drum.
Do you know what those go?
I think roughly about 90. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something I will share, and I do see your hand in the back. So, grounding. Maybe you're like feeling blocked. Women who are menstruating, I'll tell you, it helps. it's different. So I'll offer that too. Uh-oh. Yes.
I wondered if you're using it with children with autism.
I'm going to say yes, but not yet. How about that?
Actually,
Yeah. Oh, understood. Yeah, I have. Thank you. So yes, I am very highly aware of sensory. And so I do, actually, I did a group with camp and there was some sensory. So we do specific things to make sure that the tone and the vibration is something they're comfortable with. I have so many options for kids. Yeah.
You know, I was trying to figure out how to say this, but in our world now, we are so programmed to want everything. You know, I mean, that's how we're programmed. We see something, I gotta have that, you know? I mean, so how, I know you felt it and you only have $40 left in your pocket, so we know you really knew you had to have that. But how does the regular person that is like Andrea, she has to have that drum, you know? I mean, does she really have to have that drum, or does she just, and I'm not talking about you, I'm just using you as an example.
So,
Or does she just like, I like that drum, I think I need to have that drum, when we don't really need to have all the stuff we have, if you understand what I'm saying.
very much so. So the words I will offer are, when you don't question it, that's for me when I know it's completely in alignment. I just trust it. I buy it. It doesn't really matter how. The ones that I question and think about and overthink it and put it in a cart and don't pay for it, I reconsider it and I check in here. That's how I know.
That's good advice.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. Yes.
What about music for the babies when they're in the womb?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so. Especially because we know that, you know, energetically, right? There's a very specific connection between mom and child. Nothing to do with the dad. The dad had a very important component, right? But the energetic connection. So anything that the mom is experiencing, the child is as well. So if the mom is practicing calming skills to soothe her body with music medicine, then the child's going to receive that also. So, absolutely.
No, I just
Hi.
want to say thanks. Great talk. Love it. I have a few takeaways. I think the one that has got my focus is when I'm feeling something, finding how you mentioned, finding that, you know, maybe it's the strings, but if I'm still feeling it, then maybe it's the drums to move that energy, you know, and I didn't dawn on me, well, try this, try that tone, try the drums, try the strings, try the flute, right? So that's one of my big takeaways that I'm going to try and utilize. So thank you. There's many of them. Every inspiration. I bought a flute, and I don't know. Listen, we make time for what is important to us. I have the flute too now. I was talking to her about another flute, but you know, but making that time. Practice having that, right? Any hints on,
if your heart says I want to play the flute and you say no, I have to do this document, go with what your first thought was. Just play the flute.
Yeah, even if it's just
because we can get so lost in the everyday mundane, like da 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 da, I gotta do this, and my schedule is picking up very quickly now, but I can feel when I don't use it. I'll tell you, it does help when you're doing it with clients. There's a dual benefit for both of us, but not every client responds to it either. So if I sit there and I want to sit there and if I say, I want to do this, right? The drum, like, let's say the drum's calling me and I'm like, oh, I got to get these documents. 5 minutes, it's enough. I'll tell you, my documents are really good afterwards.
one more really quick. sorry, I just wanted to add. So I know you said you're not on social media.
Correct.
Where, when sounds like you host some events, some gatherings, where we can, I know you used to do some here. How could we find an email list? Or
I can get an email list going and just send everyone out emails if things come up. I could do that.
I'll start while we have the piece of paper here.
Yeah.
Before you leave, if anybody wants to get on their email list.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a good idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now, would you consider yourself a private practice person, or you work with the organization, or are you just doing your own stuff?
Oh, here's another really cool story. So there was a lot of really big emotions that were keeping me resistant from being an independent licensed practitioner. I am officially working towards that. So not yet, but give me 2 years and yes.
But so right now you're working with an organization.
Yeah, a nonprofit and then a private practice. And then stuff on my side if anyone's interested, I guess, essentially.
So if someone felt like their child would benefit from this, they would go to the organization or come to you?
They come to me directly and then we'll figure it out. Yeah.
You speak on just some of the frequencies or things that are on YouTube.
Yeah. So frequency music, binaural beats are also really effective as well. You can look on, honestly, it's completely endless. It doesn't really, a lot of people like to dictate specific frequencies to certain moods. You'll know what feels right. So just listen to the frequency. Don't get lost with the words of the title of the frequency, right? And just allow, the body will tell you. If you start to jitter and shake, maybe it's not the right one. If you start to soothe and you feel like something come over you, then it would definitely be worth trying. Yes, Carrie.
This is not what you think it's going to be. Something maybe you can speak to the organization accepts insurance.
There is a private practice that accepts insurance.
Private practice. So that is one of the advantages of going through that practice.
Yes.
They accept some insurance.
Yes. So the nonprofit with the equine assisted therapy is very minimal insurance based, but the private practice is insurance based. But so there are options for sure. Thank you.
That was very moving because actually my son, I bought a bull run for my son drum, and I'm gonna borrow it back from him because I know he's not playing it. Take some lessons on it. So but as far as procrastinating about the moves, I just moved from Fairview to, and I have a faux carpet. I had taken it out of its case. And so I've been writing down all the goals, and the top of it was Tune the Heart. So finally last night I did, and it was really great. It was really great just playing it, tuning it to the piano and singing. I felt like it was a great week, and I wrote, "Good job, Elise," on my notes to myself. So the thing is, if you write things down, just it's like poetry, and there's music in words. You write it down, it talks back to you, and you feel so fulfilled. You feel so you respect yourself so much because you know that's your high dream. It's a scary one if you keep it away. It's a great thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the horse. The horse thing is. Well,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I love going to work. Yes, of course, I'll get my independent licensure for this, right? There were other words that were coming, but I guess they weren't meant to be said because they left.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, you can.
I forgot to even put it on. No reminders. Let's see. Okay. So an usher time for truth, healing, and messages from spirit. Please rise for our next song on page 28. I'm not sure which one it is, but page 28. Good one.